Hey, eighth graders, Miss Richardson here. I couldn't meet with you guys today because I am on a field trip with the sixth graders. They're going to Junior Achievement BizTown today, and you guys have a field trip coming up on November 11th. So I hope you guys will all participate in that field trip. You'll get more information from Mr. Cantrell about that. All right, so thank you for watching my video and doing what I asked you to do. Good job, good job. All right, so you guys solved equations last year in seventh grade quite a bit. So at least half of this lesson should be review, but hang in there because the second part of the recording will be stuff that you didn't do last year. Okie dokie. All right, so here are our wonderful standards. This is our learning target. All right, so remember what makes an equation? Well, an equation has an equal sign. So in this, if we only had 4x minus 7, that would be an expression. But since they added equals 5, that makes this an equation. And like we talked about last year, when you have an equal sign and a value, that means you can figure out what the variable's value is. Okie dokie. All right, so just a couple of vocabulary terms you should be familiar with. A variable is a letter that represents an unknown number in math. The coefficient is a number that's attached to the variable. So in this expression right here, 4 is the coefficient. A constant is a number not attached to a variable, so 9 is the constant. And terms are separated by plus or minus signs. So there are two terms in this expression. The two terms are positive 4x and positive 4. So just remember, if that was a minus sign, it would belong to that second term. So if this was minus 9, the second term would be negative 9. So that should be reviewed for you. To solve an equation, the goal of all equations, guys, is to get the variable by itself. We want the variable on one side of the equal sign by itself. And the way we do that is by completing the inverse operations, which simply means the opposite operation. So the opposite of addition, we would subtract. The opposite of multiplication, we would divide. So here we have an equation, 3x is equal to 18. To get the x by itself, we would do the opposite of what is happening to x. So right here, 3 is being multiplied by x. So the opposite of multiplying by 3, we would divide both sides by 3, which is what they do right here. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times x is x. On the other side of the equal sign, 18 divided by 3 is 6. So the value of x is 6. Okie dokie. So the golden rule of life is do unto others the way you want them to treat you. Treat others the way you want to be treated, right? But in algebra, you guys, the golden rule is what you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other. So don't forget the golden rule of algebra. All right, so hopefully this two-step equation looks very familiar to you. You want to get the x by itself. So in equations, you always add or subtract first and multiply and divide last, opposite of solving an expression. So the first thing I would find is the variable, whatever is on the side of the variable, that's what you're canceling out. So the first thing we would do is get rid of plus 5, which the opposite of that is minus 5. So they subtracted 5 from both sides of the equal sign. And then we have this line, 2x is equal to 2. Well, we haven't solved the equation yet because x is not by itself. So what is happening to x? It's being multiplied by 2. And the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So we would divide 2x by 2 and the other side of the equal sign, 2 divided by 2. So those 2's would cancel each other out. So the final value of x is 1. And make sure you remember that you can always check your equations by substituting your answer into the original equation. So if x is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, and does 2 plus 5 equal 7? It sure does. We know we're right. All right, so I want you guys to try to do all these on your own. Like I said, this is review, so you should be able to solve these two-step equations. If you need to watch me do the first two, that's fine. And then I want you guys to pause the video, try all of these on your own, and then come back and check your answers. All right, so you started your video back over, right? That means you've all done these problems by yourselves. I hope so. Practice makes near perfect. All right, number one, we find our variable. Now what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by -6, and then we say +5. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of +5. So the opposite of writing +5 is -5. And I like to draw a line, well, pretend it's a line, where the equal sign is so that I remember whatever I do to one side of the line, I do to the other side. So since I wrote -5 here, I'm going to write -5 here as well. I bring down my -6x. My 5s are gone. I cancel them out. So 53 minus 5 is 48. Now, x is being multiplied by -6. The opposite of times -6 is divided by -6. I divide both sides of the equal sign by -6. So -6 divided by -6 is 1, and 1 times x is x. And 48 divided by -6 is -8. So the value of x is -8. I hope you plugged that back into the original equation, checked your answer to figure out that we are actually correct. Number two, here's my y. So I want to get rid of the divided by 6 and the -3. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of -3. The opposite of -3 is +3. +3. All right, our 3's are gone. Here's my, almost straight line. That was good. So my 3's are gone. So I bring down my y divided by 6 is equal to, so -10 plus 3 is -7. If you don't know that, put it in your calculator. All right, so our y is now being divided by 6. The opposite of divided by 6 is times 6. Whatever you do to one, I don't need that. Anyway, I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. So my 6's are gone. Y is equal to -7 times 6 is -42. Did you guys get -42? So if I plug -42 back in, I'd have -42 over 6 minus 3 equals 10, -10, excuse me. Is that true? -42 divided by 6 is -7, and -7 minus 3 is in fact -10. So I know our answer is correct. Number three, our variable, let me get rid of all this other stuff. Our variable's way over here. So we're ignoring the -9 for now. So what's happening to b? It's being divided by 5, and we want to get rid of a -10. How do you get rid of a -10? Well, the only way to get rid of a -10 is to add 10. Add 10 to both sides of the equal sign. Here's my line. My 10's are now gone, right? So I bring down b divided by 5 is equal to, what's -9 plus 10? -9 plus 10 is 1. Now what's happening to my b? It's being divided by 5. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. Gone. So b is equal to 5 times 1 is 5. Did you guys get that? I hope you did. Number 4, our variable is way over here. So here's our line. So what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by -5, and there's a +3 over here. How do I get rid of a +3? The only way to get rid of a +3 is to subtract 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Now, guys, if you're just watching me do these, it's not helping you. You have to do them on your own. You have to practice, okay, guys? So 3 minus 3 is 0. So what do I bring down? I bring down the whole term, -5 times x. Bring down my equal sign. -12 combined with -3 is -15. If you don't believe me, put it in your calculator. All right, what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by -5. The opposite of that is dividing by -5. -5. -5 divided by -5 is 1. 1 times x is x, and negative 15 divided by negative 5 is positive 3, you guys. Positive 3. All right, let me get rid of all this markings. Number 5, the first thing we got to do is get rid of those parentheses. The only way to do that is by using the distributive property. So 4 times g is 4g. 4 times minus 1, or 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, or minus 4, same thing. And here is my equation. I'm going to write it up here a little higher just so I don't go off the screen down there. All right, what is happening to g? A couple of things. The first thing I'm going to get rid of is minus 4. The opposite of minus 4, I'm going to write plus 4. Plus 4. I'm going to do it twice. Everything I'm doing twice. Here's my line. All right, my 4s are gone. If you write everything I write and you do this over and over again, you will go, okay, I get it. I understand what she's doing. 24 plus 4 is 28. Now, what's happening to g is being multiplied by 4. What is the opposite of that? The opposite is dividing by 4. Do everything twice. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times g is g. And 28 divided by 4 is 7. 7 is the final answer. Number 6, here's our x. Do you see a minus or plus? Yep, minus 3. What's the opposite of writing minus 3? We're going to write plus 3 on both sides of the equal sign. So our 3's are gone. So we have x divided by 4 is equal to 24. All right, so let me write this right here, because I'm running out of space. Now, this is a big error, you guys. Major error done constantly. People go, oh, 4 will go into 24 6 times. The answer is 6. No, that's not right. Because you have to have this little conversation in your head. What is being done to x? X is being divided by 4. What is the opposite of dividing by 4? The answer is we're going to multiply by 4. We're going to multiply by 4. We're doing the opposite. So what is 24 times 4? I think it's 96. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So x is equal to 96. Who got them all right? What? Good job, guys. All right, let's keep on going. Don't give out on me now. If you need a little more practice and a few more problems to see, here's a great Math Antics video. Please take the time to watch that. All right, so here is a problem that is being described for you step by step on what to do, and the final answer is 2. So you are welcome to go through that problem on your own as well. All right, what happens when you see a problem like this? Well, I did one earlier. The only way to get rid of those parentheses is by using the distributive property, right? So step by step on the slide deck that you all have access to, they're going to distribute that 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we're going to get rid of the plus 6 by writing minus 6. Then we're going to get rid of the times 3 by dividing by 3. And the final answer is x equals 3. All right, if you will open your lunch point and click on BrainPop, then you can watch this awesome video, I Double Dog Dare You. And then afterwards, you can take a little quiz. All right, so sometimes we have multi-step equations. So 7th grade, so the problems we've done was from 7th grade. 2-step equations is a 7th grade standard, but you guys need to do multi-step problems. So that means sometimes you'll have variables on both sides of the equal sign. Okay, so when that happens, you're going to follow these directions. You're going to get rid of the parentheses by doing the distributive property. You're going to combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. You're going to get the variable on one side. So if there's variables on both sides of the equal sign, you're going to get those together. You're going to add or subtract away from the variable, multiply or divide anything away from the variable. And step 6, remember, if the variable is being multiplied by a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal to get rid of it. All right, and here is an example. We have to use the distributive property twice. They go step by step on the slide deck. They tell you exactly what to do. And you guys have access to this, so you can go through this. Okie dokie. All right, questions to ask myself. I told you you're going to have to ask yourself some questions. You'll have to talk to yourself while you're solving equations. It's okay. We all do it, you guys. So number one, the first question, what is keeping the variable from being by itself? Question number two, what is the operation being done to the variable? And then you would say, well, then what is the opposite of that operation? Step four, remember, if I undo one side, I have to undo the other. Remember the golden rule of algebra, whatever you do to one side, do to the other. So here is a 8-minute video, I should say an 8-minute video, almost 9 minutes maybe, about having variables on both sides of the equal sign. So you have lots of resources to use if you get confused while you're doing your problems. So I'm going to go straight to our multi-step problems. So if you've watched the video and you feel like you know what's going on, great. Pause the video, do these by yourselves. Or if you want to stick around with me and work them through all the problems with me, that's fine. And then we'll pick it up again on Monday. All right, so let's do all of these problems. Hopefully you've already written them down or you printed this page or this slide. All right, so number one, I see I have X's on both sides of the equal sign. So after I make sure I don't have any parentheses, the next step is to get the variables together. So we have 3x here and 4x here. Well, we want to cancel out one of those two variables. So I'm always going to pick the smallest one. So 3x is smaller than 4x, so I want to cancel out positive 3x, the whole term together. I don't want to separate the 3 from the x. I want to move the whole term to the other side of the variable, or excuse me, the other side of the equal sign. So the only way to get rid of a positive term is to subtract it from both sides of the equal sign. Please show all of your steps when you're writing these down so you have a good example to use later. All right, so our 3x is now gone. 3x minus 3x is 0, gone. I bring down my 2, and now on the other side, I have 4x minus 3x. Well, 4x minus 3x is 1x, and 1x. 1 times x is just x. And then I'm going to bring down my minus 1. Here's my x. I want it by itself. What is on the side with x? Minus 1. What's the opposite of writing minus 1? The answer is plus 1. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And finally, my last step is bringing down my x, my equal sign, and 2 plus 1 is 3. That's my final answer. And if you take 3 and substitute it for this x and this x, you're going to get the same value on both sides of the equal sign. Number 2, I have 8y on the left side and negative 3y on the right side. I want to get my y's together. I'm going to cancel out the smallest one. So the smallest y is negative 3y. So how would I cancel out a negative term? The only way to cancel out a negative term is to add 3y. Here's my line. If I add 3y to this side, I'm going to add 3y to this side. All right, so negative 3y plus 3y is 0. That's why I did that, to get rid of this. So what do I have left? I have a positive 2. I'm going to bring the equal sign down. 8y plus 3y is 11y minus 9. How do I get y by itself? I get rid of minus 9, which means I'm going to add 9 to both sides. My 9s are gone. I have 11y. 11y is equal to 11. My last step is to do the opposite of times 11. I'm going to divide both sides by 11. And that tells me that y is equal to 11 divided by 11 is 1. That's the answer. Number 3, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I don't have any parentheses. The only way to do that is by using the distributive property. So negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. All righty. This is a two-step equation. All right, what's on the side with x? The opposite of plus 21 is minus 21. Minus 21. So then I bring down that negative 7x because my 21s are gone. Negative 7 combined with negative 21 or negative 7 minus 21, put it in your calculator, negative 28. So now I want to get rid of times negative 7. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. Those are gone because 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 1 times x is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 28 divided by 7 is positive 4. Did you guys get it? If you did, I want you to, if you haven't tried these by yourselves, try the last 3 at least by yourselves. All right, number 4, first thing we're going to do is see if we can combine like terms, and we can. 1v minus 8v, so 1 minus 8 is negative 7v. I'm going to bring down my plus 7 and everything else, 12 minus 6v. All right, I want to cancel out the smallest v. Well, the smallest v is negative 7v because negative 7 is less than negative 6. So how do I get rid of minus 7v? I'm going to add 7v. I want to cancel out the whole term, so I'm going to add 7v to both sides. And if you added 6v to both sides, you're still going to get the same answer I do eventually. So 7 is equal to 12. What's negative 6v plus 7v? That's positive 1v. Now, how do I get rid of a positive 12? I subtract 12 from both sides of the equal sign. So my 12s are gone. V is equal to 7 minus 12 is negative 5. That's the right answer, you guys. I hope you got it. All right, number 5. Let me clear everything out. So I'm going to use the distributive property twice. So 3x, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is positive 12 or plus 12. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times minus 1 or 2 times negative 1 is minus 2. So I'm going to write it up here so I don't run out of space. We're almost done, you guys. All right, so 2x minus 2. I want to cancel out my smallest variable, which is 2x. So to get rid of a positive term, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So these are gone. Bye-bye. I'm going to bring down what's left over here, minus 2. So 3x minus 2x is 1x, and 1 times x is just x. X plus 2, I'm sorry, x plus 12 equals negative 2. How do I get x by itself? I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides of the equal sign. These are gone. So x is equal to negative 14. Did you get negative 14? All right, last one, guys, for today. We're going to combine like terms. So what's 3k plus 3k? 3 kangaroos plus 3 kangaroos is 6 kangaroos. Equals 4. And then we have negative 1k plus 5k. Negative 1 plus 5 is positive 4. Positive 4k. We've combined like terms. Now we're going to get our x's together. Or sorry, it's k's this time. So we're going to cancel out positive 4k. So we're going to subtract 4k from both sides. Minus 4k from both sides. So my k's are gone on the right side. 6k minus 4k is 2k equals 4. I want k by itself. So the opposite of times 2 is divided by 2. Divided by 2. And our final answer is k is equal to 2. I hope you guys got them right. I hope that made sense. You have a couple of videos to watch if you need more practice. And thank you for watching my video, doing what I asked you to do. If you need any help, let me know, you guys. And I will check in with you guys later. And I'll see you for class next Monday. Have a great day.